Hey guys, Gareth97 again. This time a review of the 144 scale high-grade Universal Century Döven Wolf Double Zeta Gundam version from the Double Zeta Gundam series. And the big difference between this one and the Unicorn version is of course first and foremost the color scheme, but there are also a few other differences. And the most obvious of those ones being, well, the sleeves markings are of course not here, and instead of the very ornate markings, we just have one Neo Zeon symbol here. And the good news is it's not just a sticker, it's actually molded in the plastic. So that's cool. If you want to paint it, it's going to be a lot easier to paint. Of course, you don't have the sleeves markings on the arms either. And one thing I wasn't expecting is when we look at the top of the shoulders, the Unicorn version, it's just flat. I guess we could say kind of boring, but here suddenly we have two pipes going on. So I wasn't really expecting them to make any other features to distinguish the Unicorn version from the Double Zeta Gundam version, but I guess it kind of signifies that, hey, here the piping had to be, here the piping was exposed. It's an older, well, this is the older version, so in the newer version they covered up the pipes to make it more durable. So let's put this away and look at the color scheme. Well, bring it quickly back. So instead of the more subdued color scheme from Unicorn version, we now have a more, how to put this, it's not really forest green, still has kind of a neon feel to it, so it still kind of stands out. It's not foresty green, but kind of dark mint green, more something like that. Then instead of the purple of the Unicorn version, we now have a dark gray, not quite black, it's like light black, dark gray. And then for the normal gray we would get, it's slightly lighter than what we would usually get. And then because this is the Double Zeta Gundam version, we also have a few red detailings on the arm and on the face, and of course also on those mega particle cannons, well, the beam cannons at the top. Now, gonna put this to the side and then talk about the stickers, because, well, just with Unicorn version, we're getting a very nice sheet of stickers. We have the red ones that go on here, on the legs, all the red there. The back skirt, also all the red there. The orange and, well, the orange ones are separate stickers. Then we have one black in the middle. It's one on each side, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same here, 1, 2, 3, 4 stickers on little thrusters inside the arms. This here is the same concept, 4 stickers on the sides. Once again here also 4 stickers on the side, 1 sticker in the middle. Neo Zeon is a symbol. The black behind the mono eye is a sticker. Then we also of course get a mono eye sticker, unfortunately non-movable, but what did we really expect? One cool thing is, instead of 1 mono eye, we get the usual 3 mono eyes, just in case you'd want to move your mono eye and the mono eye you used doesn't stick anymore. Then a black sticker here in the thruster, and that is about all the stickers we get. We of course also a red sticker down here. So that's really all of the stickers now. But unfortunately, there is still one big part on which I made a mistake, which you're gonna have to paint. The gray part here on the beam rifle, that should have been molded entirely in red. And well, there are red runners, so they could have separated, they could have put this on a part of a runner that could be separated and then attached to a separate runner. They could have done that. There is red on the mobile suit, well, on the model kit, but they gave it to us in gray instead. And of course, the pink thing here, the pink visor is of course also a sticker. On to articulation. The head goes up, down. We'll go side to side, and we'll also rotate around all the way, but you just got to be careful about the antennas, and if you move everything to the back, you can get him to look around. But like I said, you just got to be very careful with all of those antennas. There's a lot going on with this guy's head and with his backpack. Now let's move everything up again onto the arms, rotate around all the way. This flap here goes up, and the arm will go up about that far, a bit more than 90 degrees. We'll also go forwards about that far, and I think I can extend it. There we go. Goes forwards about that far. Also, some movement on the thruster at the top. Then rotates around below the shoulder, bends at the elbow. At one joint seems to be the usual thing for the Unicorn Gundam models. Hand is, as always, on a ball joint. Will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. Then the waist is also quite articulate. It's on a ball joint, so forwards, backwards, wiggle all the way around, and it's actually surprisingly sturdy for such a giant upper body in combination with everything on that backpack. So really a surprising waist, really sturdy, and also a lot of movement going on here, but I'll get into that with the accessories. Then the legs all the way forwards, all the way backwards. So this is actually a very articulate mobile suit, despite being a very massive machine. And all the way to the side will rotate around, and we have that usual jiggle joint inside, so a little bit forwards and backwards, bends at the legs at 2 joints, but all we're getting is a bit more than 90 degrees. This here also has a bit of movement. The flap here, forwards and backwards, well, up and down really. And then the feet, as always, we have the double joint, hinge at the top, ball joint inside there, so it goes forwards, backwards, quite far, rotates around all the way, and very far side to side. Also, thanks to the design of the mobile suit itself. So, as far as articulation goes, for what this guy is supposed to be, a very massive and impressive mobile suit, this amount of articulation is really nice. And once again, this is one of those mobile suits, well, one of those model kits that wouldn't really need the articulation anyways. And to make it even more impressive, let's talk accessories now. Let's bring his beam rifle back. And this is one hell of a beam rifle. So just as a beam rifle, it's got a bipod, which is something we don't always see. And for him, it's not really that useful. I don't think they ever use it in the anime, but you have it. You might be able to do something fun with it. And also, it's not on a ball joint or a joint at all. It's just connected to a peg that's on there, and then friction does the rest. Then we have these extra handles at the side, which will come in useful in a second. And the handle, of course, goes forwards and backwards. And then when you just use it like this, it's a nice little thing. Though, what I prefer to do is, even when it's on the shoulder, extend it, and that looks immediately a lot more impressive. But if we want to make this thing really fearsome, I'm just going to borrow this hand immediately, extend, and put this on there. Come on, there we go. This is already extended. Remove this here and collapse it. That is the one kind of annoyance that there is now with the pegs on the handle. They have to incorporate it in there because otherwise it wouldn't go in. There we go. And now, oh yeah, this one is actually supposed to be extended, and when you're gonna attach to those mega particle cannons in there, you push it in like this, and this kind of works like a giant power plug. You just put it in the socket and attach it. There we go. Now just put the hand in there. And instantly, oh, almost forgot. Gotta extend the flaps at the end for the increased beam flow, and instantly we have the most powerful weapon ever to be mounted on a mass production mobile suit. And that is really something to be proud of. And that's still not everything this guy has, because there's so much more to come. And that is, of course, all in the arms. And this is how you can determine whether your Döven Wolf is a commander type or a normal type. For the commander type, what you do is you pull that out and you get 2 of these claw units. You put it in there, and that signifies that this that this was inside the arm, and that this then becomes a remote income. No, not an income, a funnel. This kind of becomes like a funnel thing, and this is now remote controlled. And we get a very nice stand with that. Simply slide it on there. There we go. And because you know there's a beam rifle, well, a kind of beam gun inside there in the hands. There we go. And just to make sure, yep, this is the left one. Put it in there, and there we go. And this is now a remote control thing flying around. And this means that it's the command unit. If you're unlucky and you're just a standard grunt, you're not going to get the wireless version. You're going to get the version with a wire. And what you have to do then is put this in the arm. There we go. And then this in there. And you can already see that those are, of course, I first got to put that in. And you can already tell that these are the parts where the wire is going to connect to. You just got to put that in there. There we go. Put this in there. And of course, you do get a pair of all of them. You get 2 of the stands, you get 2 of those parts, and you get 2 of those claws. And then you get these wires here, and you of course will connect one end here, the other end to the other one, and then you have a wired handgun. But we all know it's much better to be the commander, so let's bring back our claw and have a quick look at this, because it has a little bit of articulation too. Unfortunately, not at the elbow, but the 2 upper claws are actually able to go up and down. And that is because they can also hold on to, first of all, the super powerful beam cannon. There we go. And oh yeah, one thing I have to say about these is they're not the most well balanced in the world. And if you can see, all of the weight of this hand, well, this lower arm is going to the front, and it seems like it's the most sturdy in the back. And you can't turn this around. This has one of those like half moon things going on. You can't turn it around. So the best thing to do if you, well, really want to do this is either make this a bit heavier or just bend it a bit so that it's more stabilized. But back to our claw hands, the other thing these can hold is the beam sabers. And we get a pair of these 2, and of course we also get 2 very nice clear yellow beam sabers. And these are the usual monster grade ones, so they're very nice and long. Go in there, and the claw hands are able to hold them perfectly. Because of course you can push them in as hard as you want. There we go. And then to put them in the normal hands, oop, like I said, they're not the sturdiest in the world. I just gotta grab the normal hand here. In it goes. And unfortunately, the claw hand is a lot better at holding it. Of course, it's not going to escape because there's a knob at the end and at the top. So while it's not going to escape, it's in there very, very loosely. So the ironic thing is the normal hands work significantly worse than the sub-claw hands. You know, it's always funny when that happens. And there we go. And that, of course, still isn't everything, because we haven't talked about the backpack yet. And when we look at this, there's a lot going on. First of all, we have missile pods in there with nice red missiles. And on top here, we of course have the beam cannons. And what you have to do to deploy those is this goes up on a hinge. So this just goes up and down, and then the beam cannons themselves are on ball joints. So they will wiggle around, go up and down, and then you just got to be careful for the head antennas. And then these thrusters go up and down as well. And oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention the stickers on here and at the bottom. And then this of course does the same. Up it goes. Once again, gotta be careful for those, because technically these should go down as well. And oh yeah, I think the manual wants you to remove the head when doing this, which might not be a bad idea. But the head is quite difficult to remove because one, you have to be careful about those antennas, and two, it's on there quite sturdy. Oh, it's very tight. Then it moves back, and then those kind of grab onto the main body. And as if that still wasn't enough firepower, there's still more, because we're also getting 2 of these anti-ship missiles, and in order to use those, you have to put them up like this, so like that. Well, you can also slide them in like that, but then it's going to get very busy in there. You can put them on there, or grabbing the second one here, you can also just have them up like that, because once again, you gotta be very careful with all those antennas going on. I think I've mentioned that a lot now, but really, believe me, you don't want to break those antennas. Fortunately, I haven't broken mine just yet. And that still isn't everything, because now we gotta look up there, and that is where the incomes are. Well, that never happened before. Alright, I think I can now very well explain how the incomes are, okay? That was very unexpected. So, the incomes come loose, and then you can lose them. So yeah, the cool thing about the incomes is, I'm kind of throwing off my game here, when you take the wires, even though the manual doesn't specify it, you can actually put the wire in there and inside the income. And the good news is the wire is kind of strong enough to hold up the incomes as shown on my unicorn Döven, but you kind of got to position it like this or in a position like that so that they will actually kind of stay up. So that's a really cool thing you can do, or you can use a stronger wire you have yourself, but that's definitely a really nice thing to do. And, well, I never had any problems with my Döven wolves falling apart before. Wow, well, I guess I'll just have to fix that. And, oh, one piece of articulation I forgot. This here goes up and down, and yet another black sticker. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And for 2,200 yen, this is an absolute yes. Yes, it has a few minor problems, like a few balance problems with the stamp that can be fixed. Needs a lot of stickers, but that's not the worst thing in the world, because at the very least it's almost entirely color accurate, minus that one thing there. So the good things, it has great articulation, especially for, well, what it is, a big bulky machine. It looks great, and best of all, it has absolutely fantastic accessories. There's so much going on. You've got the beam rifle that can combine to form one of the most devastating weapons on a mass production mobile suit. You've got missiles, you've got double mega particle cannons, you've got beam cannons, you've got anti-ship missiles, you've got incomes, you've got those arms. So much stuff going on. So much play value, and all of that for 2,200 yen. This is definitely one of the best deals out there you can get. If you want a lot of play value, a lot of bang for your buck, this is absolutely the model kit to get. And did I mention it looks really, really menacing? So now the only problem you have is, which one are you gonna buy? Are you gonna go for the double Zeta version? Are you gonna go for the Unicorn version? Or are you gonna go for the Federation's Silver Bullet? Or perhaps are you gonna wait for a possible Mark V? Something to think about too. But back to these three, and the thing is, they all have their own individual strength. The double Zeta version, in my opinion, looks the best in terms of design, but then the Unicorn version definitely has a better color scheme. But then the Silver Bullet is the one that is kind of different and once again has a better color scheme than the Unicorn version. But then the Unicorn version has a lot of stickers, it has those very ornate markings which might be a turn off or a turn on depending on what you like. So really there's no saying which one of these three is better. Though unfortunately the one thing that is true is that you can definitely say that the Silver Bullet is technically inferior to the other two because it requires a lot more stickers on parts that could have been separate parts. So yeah, that is the big remaining question after this review, and really it all boils down to personal opinion. Oh, and I don't think I explicitly mentioned one thing, but the Döven Wolf is humongous. Putting it next to the Gym Custom will immediately give you an idea of its size. Or let's put it next to the James Gun. And yes, those two are the same scale. And they're both from the Universal Century timeline. And hell, even when I put it next to a standard size Master Grade, the Jim Kai here, it's actually bigger when you take the beam cannons into account. And let's put it next to his two companions from the Neo Zeon Wars. Well, I say companions, but it was a direct rival of the Zaku 3. And man, that is one hell of a menacing trio. And you know, why not pick up all three and have one of the most devastating Triforces around, the Triforce of Axis Zeon. Well, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.